Local lawmakers hear from the community what Madison residents say should be done to keep our schools safe.
Egg prices on the rise again. The impact the shortage in produce is having on consumers and also restaurants.
Plus, feeding students in need, how you can help those students on the weekends in a creative way. It's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Thanks for joining us. Community leaders gathered at the Monona Public Library tonight for a public listening session after the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in December. The event organized by State Senator Kelda Roys and State Representative Sheila Stubbs.
Our Ellie LaLiberte was there and joins us now in the studio. Ellie, what was the goal of tonight's meeting?
Well, the goal was to get public feedback about school safety and resources in our community, and Dozens showed up to do just that. It was standing room only Monday night at the Monona Public Library.
It's been a tough situation for everybody.
In an effort to turn the page after the deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in December.
This kind of thing impacts a lot more people than people individually think, I think.
The room filling up to discuss school safety. The key takeaway from the night, more security and mental health resources.
This listening session is to talk about school safety, initiatives that could happen.
Attendees suggesting initiatives like more counselors in schools and more security personnel.
They are stacked high with words like district policy.
Students like West High School senior Aviel Mack, who want to write a new narrative.
In other words, what is written on those walls is excuses, excuses, excuses.
It's an opportunity to talk.
I'm here today because I frankly am fed up with how our world is looking and how students at our schools are feeling unsafe going into buildings. And I just really want people in power to be pushing for change.
For school officials, it's an opportunity to learn.
Our life is doing it better for the children every single step. And we have to keep our students and our staff safe. So if somebody's doing it better, then we need to look at that.
And for lawmakers, an opportunity to listen.
I think we have great ideas, but we don't always have the best ideas. So I think those greatly impacted the victims, victim families, students that are still returning back to school can share with us what they think is important.
The community now looking to turn to the next chapter. This, of course, just the latest conversation around school safety. 2 weeks ago, Governor Tony Evers announced the new Wisconsin Violence Prevention Office because of the ALCS tragedy. But tonight, community members tell me it was about speaking up.
All right, thank you so much, Ellie. It was a windy but at least warm day today.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington out on the weather patio to tell us how long this weather pattern might stick around. Alex, has the wind at least died down?
A little bit. Earlier tonight, boy, it was roaring out here, but it has come down just a bit, but it will be back. Trust me, we've got plenty more gusty winds in the forecast. That's the price you pay in the wintertime, the early spring, and the later fall when you go from that really cold stuff to the really warm stuff. You got to have wind to make that transition, and boy, it was gusty today. Gusting at times upwards of 40 miles per hour. Monroe and Janesville, they had a wind advisory for Walworth County and areas east over towards Milwaukee, but it didn't matter from west to east. It was a windy day today. Current temperatures out there right now still really mild. Normal high is 27, and we're still at 34 degrees here in Madison, 32 in Lone Rock. But it is cooling down to the northwest, 27 in Camp Douglas, and as clear skies move into southern Wisconsin as the night progresses, the temperatures will eventually follow course, and they will fall too. But we got 34 and a 35 out there in Verona, 35 in Oregon right now, so quite mild. Actually, this is feeling a little bit more pleasant now than it did earlier tonight at the 5 o'clock newscast when we had those gusty winds, and even though temperatures were warmer, that wind put a little bit of a bite in the air. As we move towards 6 o'clock, waking up tomorrow morning, temperatures in the low to mid 20s, wind chill values in the low to mid 20s. Eventually those winds are really going to rev back up as we go into Tuesday, but a mild day. High temperatures by Thursday all the way up to 50 and staying above normal for the most part during the next 10 days. What do we got for precipitation chances? And, well, these temperatures, how far from normal are they? We're going to break each day down coming up in Maine weather.
Alex, thank you. A former UW lacrosse chancellor now suing the universities of Wisconsin. This after he was fired for his involvement in the adult entertainment industry. Joe Gow filing a federal lawsuit in hopes of getting reinstated as a professor on campus. In December of 2023, UW System Regents removed Gow as chancellor in lacrosse after a complaint that he and his wife created and took part in pornographic videos online. Then in September of last year, Gao was removed from his tenured professor position for violating terms of his contract and damaging the school's reputation. Gao argues the firing from his professor position violated his free speech rights under the Constitution. And UW Athletics in Madison says it'll be looking into accusations of mistreatment by former student athlete Tessa Towers. In a post on TikTok, the former Badger claimed UW women's basketball coach Marissa Mosley made her sign a release form to access Towers' therapy sessions and told Towers, she said, that if she mentioned her suicidal thoughts to her therapist, she would be kicked off the team. In a statement released tonight, UW Athletics says, quote, "We are aware of the comments shared online by former Badger student athlete Tessa Towers and will be looking into this matter. We care deeply about the physical and mental well-being of all of the student athletes on our teams during and after their time on campus," end quote.
Madison police are investigating after multiple vehicles were broken into on the city's east side. About 7:30 Friday morning, officers were called to the area of Maher Avenue, Camden Road, and Buckeye Road. Police say in some cases nothing was taken, and it's likely they're looking for keys in order to steal the vehicles. No arrests have been made, but if you have any information, please contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers. One person is dead and several others seriously injured in an alleged drunk driving crash in Beaver Dam. Sunday afternoon, sheriff's deputies were called to the intersection of County Road A and County Road B. They say that a pickup truck driver ran a stop sign and collided with another vehicle. A passenger from that pickup was ejected and died on the scene, while the driver was treated for injuries and then is now in custody and charged with OWI. The driver and one passenger in the other vehicle are being treated for life-threatening injuries, while 3 children in that vehicle also treated for minor injuries.
The race for Wisconsin Supreme Court just starting to heat up now. Conservative candidate Brad Schimmel faces Dane County Judge Susan Crawford. The balance of power could be flipped on the closely split state Supreme Court that'll decide issues like abortion in Wisconsin and also key aspects of voting rights. It's a race so important that we even saw Tesla CEO and Donald Trump ally Elon Musk post about the race on Musk's platform X.
I've never spoken with the world's richest man. It was a surprise to me when he tweeted out something recognizing that I exist. So I don't know where he's coming from. I'm grateful to have what appears to be his support in this. I'm not running on an agenda to go after anything.
And the race also comes against the backdrop of some conservatives calling for a shakeup of the justice system after what they describe as an overreach under President Joe Biden. The election is April 1st.
Well, if you thought problems with the egg shortage and prices were going to crack in 2025, think again. The USDA says egg prices are expected to go up about 20% this year because of the bird flu. The Copper Top restaurant goes through a roughly 2,700 eggs a week. That's to make all of the items on their breakfast menu. For the past few months, though, they've been paying twice as much for a carton of eggs, $108 compared to about $50 before the bird flu outbreak.
We were very optimistic after Christmas that the egg prices will come down, and now we're basically not as optimistic because the situation looks like it's going to continue.
They said that last week Costco was able to step in and sell them a case of the same amount of eggs for closer to what they were paying before. Now, if you are finding eggs too expensive, the Wisconsin Grocers Association recommends talking to your grocer. And if you normally buy large white eggs, maybe try another type, even like small organic brown.
Country artist Morgan Wallen announced this past week he'll be coming to Madison this June, bringing the second concert of 2025 to Camp Randall Stadium. Now, the last time a concert took place at the stadium was the Rolling Stones back in 1997. We're talking 28 years ago, and Coldplay now announcing they'll be coming in July. And while Madison has other venues to host large acts, Camp Randall has proven to be a little too big. Downtown Madison Inc. says there are only so many performers who can confidently sell tickets at the 76,000-seat stadium.
Folks, and there's no other venue in this area or in this region that can handle concerts like that. It just depends on really the size and strength of that act and how many folks want to come and see them.
Well, even with the demand that Coldplay and Morgan Wallen are bringing, each are only doing one performance. If enough tickets are sold, other big acts may consider Madison when putting together future tours.
Well, the Hilldale shopping mall in Madison is getting a new store this week. On Friday, Sephora is set to open to the public. The makeup company will also be hosting a scratch card prize promotion to celebrate this grand opening. So customers who visit between Friday and Sunday could win a slew of prizes like gift cards, Sephora collection picks, or a limited edition makeup bag. And the official start of tax season is here. That means it's time to start gathering all of those financial documents from 2024. Business analysts say the best way to filers to get their refunds within 21 days is to file electronically and use direct deposit. That's the easy way. As for whether or not you need to hire a tax preparer, that depends on how complex your financial spending is.
It depends on the complexity of your life. Some people think it's just, oh, I have a lot of money versus not. But if you're just a wage earner, a W-2, by the way, keep your eye out for all these tax documents. They come via snail mail very often. But if you're a wage earner, you could probably do it yourself.
Now, people impacted by the Los Angeles wildfires will have until October 15th to file. A full list of tax relief extensions can be found on the IRS website.
Well, if you're hosting a Super Bowl party this year for the biggest night of the football calendar, you can budget about the same as last year for your snacks and drinks. According to Wells Fargo, feeding 10 people with a spread of chicken wings, guacamole, chips, and beer will cost you about $139. It's only 10 cents more than last year's price. The cost of beer and some food items have gone up, but other costs have dropped, helping to balance out the total. SSM Health Monroe asking for the community's help to put some food on students' tables. In the Monroe School District, 1 in 7 children are food insecure. That's why SSM Health Monroe launched its Backpack Buddies food drive. Community members can drop off items like granola bars, graham crackers, applesauce cups, and oatmeal packets at any SSM Health Monroe Clinic location.
I know it seems like it should be in bigger urban areas, but really we have a lot of families that are in our neighborhoods right next door that need help getting groceries and food every week.
SSM Health Monroe provides over 100 families with food every weekend. The Backpack Buddies program, the food drive, it'll run through February 3rd.
Now, after the break at 10, Alex tells us about the potential for even warmer weather this week.
And President Trump focusing in on America's military, the slew of executive orders he signed today. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Today marks the beginning of the second week of President Donald Trump's second term.
And he continues to focus on immigration as well as executive orders on defense. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
God bless the USA. President Trump spoke at the annual retreat of House Republicans at his Doral Resort in Miami.
In a single week, I've taken over 350 executive actions. We've signed 300, and who ever heard of that one?
He signed more Monday night related to the military, including reinstating service members discharged for refusing to get the COVID vaccine and building an Iron Dome missile defense shield, similar to the one that protects Israel. Earlier, Republicans celebrated Colombia agreeing to accept undocumented migrants from the U.S. after refusing them over the weekend. The president had threatened tariffs and sanctions.
Days of weakness, of indecisiveness, of leadership malaise in the White House are over. It's a new day in America. It's a new day for the world.
CBS News has learned President Trump will sign the Lincoln-Riley bill at the White House Wednesday, the first legislation he'll sign into law in his second term. It requires the detention of unauthorized migrants accused of violent crimes and theft. Our voices matter. As immigration remains a top administration priority, several protests were held around the country against the deportations of undocumented migrants.
People shouldn't be walking around in fear or be scared to go anywhere.
CBS News has also confirmed the Justice Department is firing more than a dozen officials who worked on special counsel Jack Smith's team prosecuting Trump. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump has also paused U.S. refugee admissions. State Department statistics show that decision has stranded more than 22,000 refugees who had been approved for departure to the U.S.
It is Holocaust Remembrance Day and the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. More than 1.1 million people, mostly Jews, were murdered at the concentration camp, either in gas chambers or from starvation, disease, or cold. Now, the nearby home of the Nazi who oversaw the death camp is being transformed into the Auschwitz Center on Hate, Extremism, and Radicalization.
My dream, and those of our colleagues, is that every visitor, every fellow, every academic that comes here takes action to fight extremism and anti-Semitism wherever they come from.
The center will focus on research to fight extremism, working to ensure history does not repeat itself.
And on this Holocaust Remembrance Day, a one-of-a-kind exhibit in the U.S. is showcasing the life and legacy of Anne Frank. The limited exhibit at the Center for Jewish History in New York City features a replica of the secret annex from the home in the Netherlands. That's where Frank and her family hid from the Nazis for years. The halls of the exhibit are lined with artifacts and videos depicting the war and the ensuing struggle and the teen and her family endured. It includes a desk and a replica of her diary.
Well, now we go to our first warn forecast, a mild and rather windy day.
And it will get even warmer and maybe windier. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has more. When will we reach 50?
Yes, that's coming in the forecast here for Thursday to answer the question. I've had so many people ask me today, did you notice how windy it was out there, even though it was so warm? And get used to that, because it's going to be windy the next couple of days, staying mild. That's the price you pay, as I've been mentioning to folks asking me this question. When you go from the bitter cold to temperatures that are going to be near 50 degrees, it's wind that helps make that transition, and it will stay breezy and eventually turning unsettled as we head towards the weekend. I've been showing our first warn weather cam, one of them in our network here. You can see the flag still waving if you look down to the bottom there in Dodgeville right now, but the camera is not shaking too much like it was earlier this evening, where we had wind gusts approaching 40 miles per hour over the center part of Iowa County and commonly across southern Wisconsin between 30 and 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Things have died down a little bit tonight in terms of the wind, but it will be back. Let's track that together here. 6 o'clock in the morning, not too bad, but look at that. Boom. By the time we get in to the afternoon hours, all that pink and purple colors come back. We're looking at winds roaring between 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. As we go into Wednesday morning, still between 25 and 30 mile per hour wind gusts, and fast forwarding into Thursday, you get the picture here. All 3 days here, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, are going to feature windy conditions, but on the flip side, it will be warm. I'm actually going to raise our high temperature tomorrow to Madison from 43 to 45. That's going to tie with the rest of southern Wisconsin in the mid to upper 40s. So a mild day, that's the plus, and partly sunny conditions. As we track temperatures going into Wednesday, we'll see them in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. A little cooler to the north, but that cool stuff won't get here for a while because we got to do one really warm day on Thursday in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. Not going to be shocked to seeing some Wisconsinites in shorts to enjoy those really nice temperatures. Speaking of 50, the last time we were up near 50 was back on January 17th, and that wasn't that long ago. Behind me here, after we had that unprecedentedly warm day with temperatures 25 degrees above normal, we went way down early last week to temperatures 25 degrees below normal, and then have been working our way on this roller coaster ride back up to these warm temperatures of 43, which again, I'm going to raise to 45 for Tuesday. I'm going to bring Wednesday up to 37, 38. Still thinking Thursday's on the money at 50, with temperatures eventually getting down into the 30s for the weekend, and then 20s as we go out into next week. How far are these temperatures from normal? Meaning how, in the case of Thursday, how much warmer than normal is Thursday going to be with highs up near 50? About 25 degrees above normal. Wherever you see the reds here, that's Tuesday, clear through the weekend. Temperatures staying above normal. It's not till we get out into early next week that those temperatures will be approaching normal or going a little bit below normal. And with that, some precipitation. Those chances on Friday, not as high. I think I'm going to add some snow showers for Saturday, looking at some of our latest weather models carrying on into Sunday. So an unsettled weekend is in store.
And still to come in sports, the pair of players that have Wisconsin men's basketball scoring at a record place, plus have the same name. Next on News 3 Now. In college basketball, you are lucky if you have that one player that can really score the rock, a true number one option. But this year, the Badgers don't just have one, they have two top options, John and John. The pair have stepped into stardom this season, each scoring at least 16 points per game. They would certainly be a top option on just about any team in the country, but together, they've proven to be elite and elevate each other's games.
And I think we just have fun hooping with each other. It's just fun to go out there and play with him every night. And he just showed you something new almost every night. You know, he can get to the rim, shoot the three, get to the midi. So I just love going out there hooping with him, and he's a dog.
We're just out here having fun. He makes my job a lot easier, getting downhill and just being, at the top of that scouting report. So, I'm just loving being here and being able to play on the same team as him.
High school boys hoops, a top 10 matchup that lived up to the hype. Abundant Life against Partyville, and Partyville brought out the Streamers early, jumping up to an 8-point lead with some help from Elijah Atcherberg. But the challengers, they were up to the test, responded with a 19-2 run of their own, where everything was going their way. This place was going crazy, and Kenley Rivest adds to the excitement. He had a couple of clutch threes in this one, but eventually the party was back on. This one was close down to the wire. It took overtime to decide it, but Partyville, they'd win it 70-65. And just like the men's basketball team, Wisconsin men's hockey comes in at 17 in this week's national rankings, back into the USCHO polls for the first time since late October. After a really slow start, the Badger men have been hot lately, only losing in regulation once in their last 17 contests. With 4 conference series remaining, Bucky sits in 4th place in the Big Ten. Up next for them is a border battle at number 4 Minnesota this weekend. And we've got one more John to talk about. John Axford, how could you forget him? The relief pitcher who set the Brewers' single-season saves record in 2011 was inducted into the team's Wall of Fame today, or the Walk of Fame, I should say. The reliever in 2011 also won the NL's Reliever of the Year award. And by the way, we're not that far out from baseball. Brewers pitchers and catchers report to spring training in less than 20 days. We'll be right back.
And Alex is back as we take one final check of the forecast.
Yep, let's start off with the 3 things you got to get out of the forecast. We know number 1 here because this started today. Windy conditions, that's going to last Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But it is the wind that's the trade-off that's keeping us warm for the first few days of this upcoming week. Looking at the upcoming weekend, a decent chance of us having some snow showers on Saturday going on into Sunday. I'm actually going to move the precipitation that you see there on Friday to Saturday and Sunday, but that's not before a 45 on Tuesday. I'm going to boost that temperature. When I get back to my computers over there, on Wednesday we'll be in the upper 30s. There's that 50 on Thursday where we'll have the folks in shorts probably before those temperatures cool a little bit by the weekend. Indications next week we'll have temperatures at normal for January value.
So lots of outside exercise. We'll
yes, enjoy the next couple of days.
Alex, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Have a great night.